So, good morning. Those of you just tuning in, we do need straps today. If you're home, grab a belt or whatever you use at home. They're hanging here if you want more. To remember, I wash everything. And so, anytime if you're in the studio, if you use a blanket or blocks, just leave them on the floor when you leave, and I'll disinfect them. So, if anybody's there and can hear, if you give me a heads up, and I know if everything's all right with the microphone. If I don't hear from anybody, I'll just assume it's working. Hope for the best. So, let's sit however's comfortable. You know, if you're on the floor, you can sit however feels good. Stretch your legs out if you'd rather. Cross your legs. I mean, you can sit in a hero pose if you want to. Sit up on a block or sit in hero or sit on blankets too if that feels better for you. And just lengthen up here. Really enjoy feeling how you're connected there into the surface you're sitting on. So you feel your sitting bones reaching down, the top of your head reaching up. And accept your breaths now. Just feel the breaths easily coming in and out through your nose. Let your breaths come into the belly, feeling the belly rise and expand a little bit as you breathe in. And on your next exhale, just gently bring your hands together to meet in front of your chest. Spread your fingers a little bit, feel connected there through the hands. And we'll keep our hands together and inhale the hands right up through the midline. Only as high as your shoulders let you keep your hands together there. And when you exhale, bring the hands back down together, letting them rest right in front of your chest. So on the inhale, rising the hands up, letting yourself be mindful there. And on the exhale, bringing the hands right back down through the midline. And then one more time. Inhale, rising the hands up through the midline. And on the exhale, bringing them right back down. Once you get your hands back in front of your chest, lift your elbows up a little bit. So you're pressing your hands gently a little more easily together. Feel your wrists. And then come to separate your hands and come to let just the tips of your middle fingers touch there, right? Letting the elbows rise up, almost like you're putting your hands on a shelf right there in front of your chest. And then unfold your arms on out beside you here now, really reaching out through the fingertips. And let's turn the palms up. Feel what happens when you release to turn the palms up. Feel the shoulders release down. And we'll inhale the hands all the way up overhead. And on the exhale, bring our hands down together in front of our hearts. And we're going to come on forward into a seated forward bend. So if you know keeping your legs crossed isn't so good, stretch your legs out if you need to. Take your time to come on forward, adjust however you need to, sit, and ease your way into that nice long back. So you can stay up as high as you would like. You can fold more over the legs if that feels okay to your back. Let your head release. See if you can really allow your head to hang a little bit to feel release through your neck. And feel your breaths coming into your ribs. Let your face and jaw be soft. And then we'll slowly walk ourselves on back up. And let's bring our hands behind us and go ahead and either come to fingertips if you're on the floor or flat hands. You can drape your hands if you're sitting in your chair, drape your arms over the back of your chair. And then just open through the front body here. Bring your gaze where it feels comfortable. Look forward if you'd like or look up. And then we'll release to come on back up. And if you're cross-legged on the floor, we're going to switch the cross of the legs. So if you need to stretch them out before you come to the other side, do. And let's go. Flexing through the feet if you're cross-legged, feeling the outside edges of your feet into the floor. And no matter how your feet are on the floor, see if you can feel the part of your feet that are in the floor. Press down into them a little bit. And again, just take your time, let your head hang. Actually, let your head turn a little bit side to side. So you feel the chin just going from towards one shoulder and then the other. Make your way back to center with your head. Again, release there if you can, as long as it doesn't hurt your back. Let your head hang. And then we'll come on back up, walking ourselves on back up from here. Fingertips on out beside us here. Take a nice inhale. And on the exhale, let's twist to our right, bringing your left hand around either to the midline or across to that right knee. Waking up here through the spine. Feel your sitting bones drawing down and low belly just gently engaging. One more inhale. And on the exhale, we'll move on back through center. We're going to go all the way around into the other direction. So again, as you come around, only go as far as feels good for you. Feel your sitting bones. And see if you can press down gently into whatever part of your feet are touching the floor. One more inhale. And on your exhale, use your belly to bring you on back around into center. And let's inhale both arms all the way out and up overhead. And as you exhale, lower your right arm on down, and we're going to come over into side stretch, breathing into the left side of the body. Now, if you can turn to look up a little bit, do. If it bothers your neck, don't do it. And then turn to gaze to look forward and see if you can turn then to look down towards the ground. And on our next inhale, we'll rise everything all the way up and lower that arm on down. And let's inhale both arms back out and up overhead. Find that wide V. And then lower your left arm down. And we'll come over into side stretch on that right side. So reaching over to the side. And just be mindful of feeling the ribs get a lot more space here as you reach out through your fingertips. If you can turn to look up a little bit, do. And then as you exhale, turn to look forward and then down if you can. So you're looking down towards the ground. And our next inhale will rise us all the way back up, bringing the hands on out beside us here now. And then just bend your elbows, bring your hands in front of your chest, and take a couple of breaths here. Just feel very centered, very evened out here if you can. And then we'll release our arms on down. Shake out a little bit. We're going to come on around towards our hands and knees. You know, if you don't want to be on your knees, you need a blanket underneath your knees. By all means, use it. You can be up higher with your hands so you're standing on your feet rather than being down on your knees too. So adjust as you need. And see if you can kind of lift one hand at a time, almost like you're walking on your hands. Right, so you lift one hand and put it down. You lift the other hand. Look at your hands as you do it. And the next time you get both hands down, just check and feel even there between your hands. Think of your pointer fingers being parallel to each other. Let your inner elbows turn to face each other. And we're going to go ahead and draw up into cat pose here. And on your next inhale, send your tailbone back and up and move on through into your cow. So take your time. Let yourself just easily flow through here. Appreciating that easy movement through the spine. Feeling the tailbone initiate each time. So you can feel that. You just move from the tailbone and then up through the spine into the pose that you're heading into. We'll finish off the one we're on. And we'll come to more neutral spine. And we're going to send the right foot behind us and curl the toes under on the mat there. Stretch out the back of the leg a little bit. Just enjoy. Engage the belly. And then see if you can float that right leg up about parallel to the floor or lower if you're up higher with your hands. And then you can release your left arm forward if you choose, coming into a little balance there. And then we'll bring the hand back down, bring the knee or foot back down, and we're going to switch and send that left foot back. Now press into the heel, wake up the calf a little more there, engage your belly. And then floating the leg up about parallel or a little lower if you're up higher, and then you can release your right arm forward, opposite arm and leg. Coming into a little balance there, engaging the belly. And then we'll release, hand and knee back down. And we're going to step forward with our left foot to find our first lunge. So you use whatever support you need underneath your hands, whatever height you want to be. Take your time. Get into that lunge there. Get your feet, remember, like you're on very narrow railroad tracks so that you're not like on a tight rope. Draw your shoulders down. Let yourself enjoy. And then we'll switch. We're going to go to the other side. So again, make sure that front knee is not coming no farther forward than your ankle. Feel the length down the back body. Let your shoulders just feel really nicely down away from your ears. And we're going to switch again. And press the feet away from each other. If you want to lift up a little bit, you can bring that front hand or forearm up to your thigh. I mean, some of you may even want to bring both hands up off the block or the floor. Give yourself support either above your knee with your hands or with your forearm. And then we're going to switch and go to the other side. So take your time, get yourself into your lunge there. Feel the feet pressing away from each other. If it feels good to think of bringing the hands up a little bit or bringing one hand up or your forearm up to above your knee there. Just take your time. Good. And then we'll come on down with the hands. We're going to step forward and come on into standing forward bend. So feet hips distance apart and parallel. Let your knees soften a little bit. And let your head turn. Nod your head a little bit. Shake your head a little bit. Or even circle. Let the head kind of circle a little bit if that feels good, to really enjoy feeling the release there as you feel the weight of your head. Sitting bones over your heels, whatever support you need under your hands or your forearms. Nice, full, deep breaths here. On your next inhale, see if you can float your toes up off the floor. Bend your knees a little bit more. Feel the outside edges of the feet and the inside edges of the feet reaching into the floor. Those four corners too. And then we'll release. We'll bring the hands up to the hips as the toes come down. Let's bend our knees and inhale the arms all the way out and up overhead. And let our exhale bring our hands down together in front of our hearts. Take your time. Set your feet up for your mountain pose. So start from the ground up. Let yourself get those feet evenly placed. Bring yourself on into thighs engaging upward. Hips over your ankles. Shoulders over your hips. Bringing your gaze on forward and out. And just imagine that you're inhaling up the front of your body. And that the breath goes over the top of your head, and as you exhale, it comes down the back of your body. It's like you're encircled by your own breath, helping you feel more balanced. And we'll unfold our arms on down beside us here now. We'll inhale both arms all the way out and up overhead. And on the exhale, bend the knees, coming on forward into your standing forward bend. And let your next inhale help you find a nice long flat back. Reach back through your tailbone, out through the top of your head. And we'll step the right foot back and come into lunge. And inhale, exhale into your downward facing dog pose. So take your time, walk a little bit here in your dog, and let it be a real walk so you're not rushing through, but you're giving when you have one leg long and the other one bent. You're really giving that long leg time to find a little more space at the back there. Hug your elbows softly towards each other. Good, and on the next inhale, we'll come on out to plank, nice and strong. Engage your belly. And we're going to lower down. You can put your knees down first if you choose. Go down through a full push-up. And we'll come on into a Sphinx pose. Onto our forearms, elbows under the shoulders. Spread the fingers nice and wide. And then slide your hands back as you come down a little bit, back to the upper chest, and start to rise up here with the hands on the floor. And if you want to go up higher, you can. You can press into your hands, rise up even higher, elbows hugging in towards the ribs. And we're going to make our way all the way back down and back into down dog from here. Whether you come back through a half push-up, a full push-up, or back to your hands and knees and back to dog. And we'll bring our right foot forward to come into lunge. And then we'll step back into standing forward bend again. Feet right underneath us. If you're able to hold your elbows, do. If it's too much, don't do it. Slip your elbows above your knees or use other support under your hands if you need it. Good. And then we'll bring our hands up to our hips, bend our knees. We'll rise on up to standing. And inhale our arms all the way out and up overhead. And on our exhale, bring our hands down together in front of our hearts. We're going to bring our left arm over our right to give a hug here. Bring your hands either to your shoulders or lower towards your armpits, whichever feels good. Let your elbows melt down. And then bend your knees, shift back with your hips, and come into a little chair pose right here. And be mindful there. You don't have to go very far. And then start to either release to a half eagle or a full eagle wrap. You can slide the back of your right hand to the outside of your left elbow, or you can send the backs of the hands towards each other, bringing your right fingers onto that left palm if you choose. Breathing here. Feel the feet equal in the floor. One more breath. Now keep your arms, press into your feet, rise on up to standing here. Let the elbows rise up a little higher if you can. And then unfold the arms on down. We're going to inhale the hands out into a T position. Let your fingertips reach out from the midline. And we'll bring the right arm on top of the left and give ourselves a hug here. Again, you can go lower towards the armpits or more to your shoulders. Sit back into that chair. Let yourself really even out here. Feel that the knees are coming out over the center of your feet. And then head into either half wrap or full eagle wrap, sending the back of the left hand to the outside of the right elbow or coming into your full wrap. Feet in the floor equally so you feel very balanced. One more breath. Keep your arms, press into your feet. Rise on up now. Elbows can lift up a little bit here. And then we'll release the elbows on down, unfold our arms. We're going to inhale both arms all the way out and up overhead. And on the exhale, we'll fold forward into standing forward bend. Let your next inhale help you find that flat back. And this time, left foot comes back into lunge. Inhale. Exhale into your downward facing dog pose. Good. Let's inhale our way out to plank. Once you're in your plank, try to bend your elbows just a little bit towards each other, not down all the way into a full push-up. And then come back to straighter arms and come back into down dog again. Hug your elbows towards each other. We'll do that again. Inhale out to your plank, nice and strong. See if you can bend your elbows a little bit. Come back into long arms and then go back into dog again. We're going to do that one more time. Inhale out to plank. This time we'll lower down to the floor. So knees first if you need, elbows right by the ribs. And we'll come into that cobra. Whatever choice is yours, low or higher. Take your time, come to where you can be. And then we'll make our way back into down dog again. We'll bring our left foot forward to find lunge. And then we'll come on back into standing forward bend. Full
Couple deep breaths. If your hands are okay to come up onto your back and clasp them there on your low back, do it. If it's too much, don't. You might even want your arms to come off your back to give your shoulders a little more release there. So if that feels good, do it. Make sure you're not rolling to the outside edges of your feet. One more breath. And then we'll bend our knees, bring our hands right to the hips as we rise up to standing. And inhale the arms all the way out and up. And on our exhale, bring our hands down together in front of our hearts. Let's reverse the arms. Inhale right up through the midline. On the exhale, open the arms and fold forward, moving with the breath. Inhale into that long back. Exhale, right foot back to lunge. And inhale. Exhale into your downward facing dog pose. Let your inhale carry you to your plank. Your exhale will lower you down. And inhale into your cobra of choice. Exhale back to down dog. Inhale. Exhale right foot forward to lunge. Inhale. Exhale into standing forward bend. Bend the knees rising up. Arms all the way up to the top. And on the exhale, we'll fold forward again. Now let your inhale lengthen your spine. Exhale, left foot back to lunge. Inhale. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale out to your plank. Let your exhale be what lowers you. Your inhale will bring you up into your cobra. And your exhale will bring you back to down dog. Inhale. Exhale, left foot forward, lunge, and inhale. Exhale into standing forward bend. Bend the knees, rising all the way up to the top. And on the exhale, we're going to fold forward again. Let your inhale lengthen out your spine. We're going to come into down dog. Take your hands to the place you like. Walk yourself back. Wag your tail around a little bit. Move through however you need. Actually walk all the way over the tips of your toes. Press into the toenails of one foot at a time. Really letting the tops of the feet open up there. Good. And then finish off. Come on back into your dog. Elbows hug towards each other. Imagine your inner thighs melting their way behind you. And we will bring our left foot forward from here. Have your blocks handy. We're going to come on up to Warrior 2. So take your time to get your heels lined up here. Really allowing yourself to find that alignment of that front knee. And find that alignment of that back foot where your knee feels okay, of your right foot feels okay back there. And then bring your hands together in front of your heart. Lift your elbows up like we did at first, so you feel the hands kind of pressing together. Not harshly, but you feel a little more there in your wrists. And then from there, allow your elbows to melt down. And we'll inhale the hands right up through the midline, keeping them together. And once they're at the top, open the arms and start to turn the palms downward as you open into Warrior 2 arms. Bringing your gaze right out over the top of that left hand. Reaching equally back through the right fingertip. Good. Let's turn the left palm up and inhale, reach up towards the sky. Let yourself have a full breath into the left ribs. And on the exhale, come into our side angle. So left hand or forearm onto your thigh. Look down. Let your right arm swing back and forth a little bit. You're looking down. The arm's heavy. It's just hanging. And then the next time you inhale, bring the arm up into line with your ear, with your pinky facing down and your thumb up. And then press into that left hand or forearm and open into your side angle here. Opening to look front and turning the right pinky down a little bit more, finding that sense of length through both sides of the body. We're going to come on back into Warrior 2 from here, pressing the feet away from each other as we come. And let's straighten that left knee out. Bring our left hand down for triangle. So you can use your hand on your leg. You can slide the hand down your shin if you want. You can use your hand on a higher height, block or blocks. Thighs are engaging upward. Bring your gaze, if possible, a little up towards the ceiling, even maybe towards that right hand. And then look forward again. Let yourself just bring your gaze forward and then turn to look down at your left foot. Make sure you're not rolling. Lift your toes up if you can of your left foot. Feel the thighs engaging upward. One more breath. And then bring your toes down, and we're going to bring our right hand down, and we're going to turn into a lunge here. So having your hands whatever height you like, and releasing that right heel directly behind you. And we are going to lower the right knee down to the mat, if you can. You don't have to. Lower the knee down if you can. Let your hips come forward a little bit. You can decide if you need a blanket under your knee. We're going to add a little twist. So right hand stays on whatever support you want. Left hand comes on up to the left outside of your knee there, and you twist in towards that left leg. Now you can stretch if you want that left arm up. That's up to you, coming into that twist there where you can be. And then we'll release. We're going to come on back down, and we're going to lift the back knee back up to come into lunge. And we're going to come on back into downward facing dog pose from here. So releasing your way back into down dog. Walk a little bit. If you're able to come out to plank, do. And then if you want to come into an up dog, you can either go through chaturanga, lower down, or you can come right on through to your up dog if you choose. Not necessary to do these, you know that. And you can move back to down dog. So if you want to come through 2 or 3 vinyasas or kriyas, you can. You can stay in dog if you'd rather, you know that. Good. So finish off the one you're on. We'll meet back in down dog. Good. Breathe. Nice, full, easy breaths. And we're going to bring our right foot forward this time. We're coming up for warrior 2 on the other side. So again, adjust your blocks as you need to get them right there handy for you if you like them. Lining up your heels, bringing yourself into that length of stance, that alignment of that front knee, and then bring your hands to your heart again. Lift your elbows up, press, feel the hands just automatically come more firmly together. Feel that sense of shoulders away from your ears. And then let the elbows soften down. We're going to inhale the hands right up through the midline. And on the exhale, open the arms back into those warrior 2 arms now. Reaching out through your fingertips. So feel just as much energy reaching back through the left fingertips as you do reaching forward through the right. Soften the tops of the shoulders down. And we're going to turn that right palm up and inhale. Let that rise of that right hand bring you into more release through the right side of the body. And on the exhale, bringing your right hand or forearm onto that thigh, look down and start to let your left arm swing a little bit back and forth. Feel the weight of your arm. Let it feel good. And then we're going to swing that arm up by the ear. Let the pinky face down, the left thumb face up. And now as you open to the side, if you press into your hand, right hand or forearm, it makes it easier. Opening into that side angle, really finding length through both sides of the body here. And we're going to come on back into warrior 2. Press those feet away from each other. Get you right back now into your warrior 2. And we'll straighten the right leg out and bring our right hand down for triangle. Now you can slide the hand down your leg. You can grab a block or two, either in front of or behind that right leg. Put your hand on the block. Feel the thighs engaging upward. Reach up through the left fingertips if you have that arm up. You know, you can look up too if it feels good. Let yourself turn to look upward. And then start to turn to look down towards the floor, towards your right foot. Lift your right toes up for a second. Feel your thighs continue to engage upward. And then bring the toes on down. And from here, we're going to bend that front knee. Bring our left hand down, releasing to that lunge now. So now we're bringing that left heel directly behind our foot. And if you can, lower the left knee down, do. You don't have to. Pressing into the top of the foot, letting your hips come forward. Now add this twist, keeping the left hand, whatever support you want, right hand coming to the outside, right above your knee if you can, opening into drawing the left rib cage towards the right inner thigh. You can stretch that top arm up if you want. Or you can keep your hand there on the outside of the leg and give yourself a little bit of resistance there. And then we'll bring our hands on back down. We're going to lift the back knee up and find lunge again. And we'll make our way back into downward facing dog pose. So again, coming out for that plank, you decide if you want to do a back bend and what kind, whether you come through chaturanga and come through for an up dog or not. Move at your own pace. Feel free to put your knees down and rest in child's pose anytime. Or stay resting in dog pose if that feels good. So ease your way through so that we can then meet back in downward facing dog. Good. And from here, we're going to bring our left foot forward and we're going to come into lunge. Now, you may want your blocks here. It's up to you. Once we get into the lunge, we're going to straighten that front knee out and come into a pyramid pose, lowering the right heel down to the floor. Both legs are straight. Adjust how high you want your hands. Adjust how long you want your stance. So that back heel is fully in the floor. Think of the four corners of both feet being into the mat here. Feel your thighs engage upward. You might want to look at your left foot. Lift your left toes up and make sure you're not rolling to the pinky toe side of that foot. And then bring the toes back down and let your right hand stay grounded, whatever height you want. And bring your left hand up to your left hip and start to roll that left shoulder up, coming into revolved triangle. So make sure you're not rolling on that front foot anymore to the outside, because the tendency is to do that once you come into this twist. But try to stay grounded through the four corners. You can stretch that left arm up if you want. One more breath. And then let your hand come on back down. We're going to bend into that front knee again. And we're going to come on back into downward facing dog pose. So let's come out to plank and see about playing with a little bit of side plank. You can put your left knee down to the mat if you want, or you can shift to a full side plank if you choose, letting yourself, if possible, rise on up, stretching up through that right arm. And then we'll come on back and come to plank again. Walk your plank a little bit. Let yourself feel your belly nice and strong. And then if you want to, as you go to the right hand, right side, you can put the right knee down, use the right foot like a kickstand, and bring yourself into your side plank there. You can even lift the left foot up if you want, whether your legs are long or your knees down. And then we'll come on back, make our way back to plank again, and then we'll make our way back into down dog. We're going to bring, you might want your blocks. We're going to straighten that front knee out, lower the left heel down for a pyramid, which means an adjustment for most of us in the length of your stance, right? So the back foot's fully grounded, turned out 20 to 30 degrees. So you don't want it parallel to the back edge. You want that heel just to rotate back enough to have 20 or 30 degree turnout in your back foot. Lengthen out now through both sides of the body. Feel your thighs engaging up. Nice full breaths. Give the backs of the legs time to adjust. And then we'll have our left hand planted. Bring our right hand up to our right hip and rotate up into that revolved triangle. So you're trying to keep your hips level and square. Not an easy pose. Thighs are engaging up. Feel that front foot there on the floor. Now, if you want to stretch the top arm up, you can. Not necessary. One more breath. And then we'll bring that hand on back down. If you want to fold over your leg a little bit here, do. And then from here, we're actually going to walk around into a wide-legged forward bend. So if you need your blocks, bring your blocks with you, so that you get yourself now with your feet wider than your shoulders. Feel those feet equal in the mat and try to make sure you're not rolling to the inside or the outside. And you can take your time here. You can walk around a little bit side to side. You can bend a knee at a time. Let your body take over, right? Let the movement happen that feels really good to you, that feels like you're bringing release and a little bit more ease into the pose for yourself. So that when you do get ready to come back into center, to be with your breath, whether that's using blocks, stacking them up, or using blocks under your head or your forearms, or maybe you like to bring your hands back more towards your feet or between your feet or behind yourself, walking your hands back. Just experiment a little bit. Doesn't matter. There's no right or wrong. And then see if you can follow that breath in and out. Feeling those little spaces between your breaths. One more full deep breath here. And now if your hands are back, walk your hands back out in front of you, whether it's to blocks or the floor, and rotate your heels forward so your legs are turned out a little bit. And we'll bring our hands up to our thighs from here and rise up into a little goddess pose. So knees are bent. Let yourself bring your arms straight out from the shoulders. Bend your elbows to 90 degrees. Feel your hands spread nice and wide. And just feel your tailbone dropping down. So try not to tuck your tailbone forward, but also try not to shift it back behind you. It really is literally like your tailbone is dropping straight down. Good. So one more breath here. And then we're going to rise on back up. We're going to turn our toes back forward, and we're going to bring our feet together. You can jump if you want, or you can walk your feet together. Move through your feet and your ankles a little bit. Walk around a bit. Good. And let's bring our mats to a wall. So if you don't have a wall at home, do the best you can. If you don't have an empty wall, I understand. You can put your hand on a kitchen counter. It's fine. But we're going to bring our blocks. Let's turn our right hand or shoulder towards the support we're using, the wall or whatever, and bring our blocks in front of us. So let both your blocks be in front of you to the highest height. And we'll bring our right hand to the wall or to the support, and we're going to cross our left ankle above our right knee into a figure four. Now you can go lower. You can cross ankle at ankle if you want. And then start to sit back. You know, we did the chair pose with our arms all wrapped up. See if you can just sit back a little bit. Use the support. If you feel like, I want to try balancing here, you can. Or you can bring your hands down towards those blocks and let yourself, even if your right knee won't bend too much and it needs to stay straighter, you'll still get a nice release for the back of the leg and for the hip. So if you can get your hands to the blocks, and if highest height is like, well, that's not enough, then go down more to lower, even to the floor. Right? Wherever you want your hands to be there. Just feel really good. Hold the wall if you need it. One more breath. And then unfold, put that left foot back down, and now reach the left foot behind you like you're coming into Warrior 3, but then open the hip up like you're coming into Half Moon and start to lower your body down more towards your leg. It's like a standing split, right? So you're more than welcome to let yourself use your hands to help you. You can put your right hand behind that right leg and pull yourself in closer. One more breath. And now let that left foot come all the way down right under you. Got your feet together there, and we're going to rise straight up to standing. Now once you're up, excuse me, bring your right hand to your support, bend your left knee, and reach back if you can and get your left foot. You don't have to do the getting the foot. Press the foot into the hand. You can float your right arm up and balance just straight up and down. Or you can keep your hand on the wall, send the chest a little forward, the knee a little back. You can balance here, of course, if you want. Good. And then we're going to release, let the knee come down, uncross, come on down now to turn around in the other direction, getting the blocks forward again if you can. So shake out, do whatever you need before we do the other side. And then we'll cross our right ankle above our left knee. Lower if you want. Bend the left knee as much as feels okay for your hip. Don't force it. You don't have to go any lower. Stay up as high as you want. This whole next thing is optional. If you want to bring your hands down to the blocks, you can. You don't need to. Deep into the hip. The more you bend that left knee, the deeper you'll get into your hip here. So just release and breathe. Stay up higher with your hand on the wall if you need to. And then we're going to bring the foot down, and we're going to start to reach that right leg back like you're doing Warrior 3 at first. Open the toes out like you're in a half moon. And then see if it's possible to bring the torso down more. And, you can decide. Your hands can come lower to the floor. You can put your left hand behind your left leg there. Just really gets a nice hamstring stretch for your left leg, and obviously, you're opening that right hip. One more breath. And then go ahead and bring the right foot back down right under you. We're going to rise up to standing. We're going to put our left hand on the wall or whatever we're using. Bend our right knee, flex the foot. Now, you don't have to reach back and get it. If you can get the top of the foot, do. Pressing the foot into your hand. And then you can decide whether you want to reach your left arm up to balance or not. And you can do that without holding the foot, you realize. And you can come forward if you want with the chest, back with your knee a little bit, coming in towards that dancer's pose. And you can balance here too if you choose. Or you can keep yourself hand supporting. Nice. And then we'll release and come on down. Shake it out a little bit. From here, we're going to come, I'm going to turn my mat now, and we're going to come into child's pose with our toes at the wall. So let yourself, if you don't have a wall at home, that's fine. Just come on down onto your mat and let yourself, if you are by a wall at home or here, come back all the way with your toes touching the wall. And then release towards your pose of a child. And let it be really easy. Whatever you need for support. So if you need to stay forward on your forearms, do. If you're able to bring your arms back, rest them alongside your legs there, palms turned up. Breathing into the low back. Good. One more breath. And from here, let yourself come on up to your forearms. Now you can decide, you can come into a forearm plank, walking yourself forward so that you're out long, or you may decide you want to be on your forearms here and lift up into a dolphin, right? That's your options, right? You want to allow yourself to be where you can be today. If the dolphin pose feels good for your shoulders, you can find that sense of elbows hugging towards each other. Feel the elbows shoulder distance apart. If not, you can be out in that plank and on your forearms, building a lot of core strength there. So don't push it. Go where you can be. You can walk up the wall if you want. And you can come down and rest whenever you choose. You know that, whether you rest in child's pose or you rest sitting with your head up above your heart again.
So don't push anything. Just let it feel good. Sometimes being upside down like that's new perspective, right? Good. So finish off. If you're all the way up still, see if you can manage to make your way on back down. And we're going to come on forward onto our bellies on our mat. And let yourself, see if you can, with your legs long, be able to touch the wall with the balls of your feet. All right? Because from here we're going to roll onto our left side. And we want to, if we can, feel our feet, especially your left foot, into the baseboard, right? Your left foot is really pressing into the wall. You're long, like you're standing in mountain pose. If you're not comfortable to lay on your arm, grab a blanket or a block, put it under your head so that you can adjust this left underarm to a place where you don't feel any kind of stress in your shoulder, right? Good. And from there, tree to the inside of that left leg. It can be above or below the knee. Just take your time. Feel the hip opening up there. Press gently into that ball of that left foot on the wall a little. And then some of you will be able to bring your right hand to that right knee and draw the knee in towards your shoulder. And if you want to extend that leg up, you can. So rotating that right inner heel, that right heel forward, right? So that you come into turning out that right hip, finding that outward hip rotation. You can hold on to your leg in front or behind of the leg. You can hold on to your foot or your big toe hold if you want. Keep pressing into that foot on the wall. It's kind of helpful. One more breath. And then bring the leg on back down. We're going to turn back to our bellies. And from here, as you turn all the way down, release your arms down alongside you. Feet are still up into the wall a little bit. See if you can lift the feet up a little higher and then lift up into a little locust as you press gently into the wall back there with the feet. You don't have to go high. Just feel the back body working to lift you a little bit up here. Press gently into the wall with the feet. And then we'll come on back down and we're going to roll to the other side. So again, you got to adjust to get that, especially that right foot. You know, the foot's on the floor. So you're all the way down with that right foot. You can press into the wall. Good. You can straighten your body out. And then you can bring that left foot up into like a tree. Now, extending it more is up to you. You can use your hand to draw the knee in towards your shoulder. You can extend the leg up long, rotating that left heel forward. If you keep pressing into the wall a little bit, that gives you a little more sense of almost like you're standing on that leg, right? Picture yourself standing up doing this. Breathe. Good. Very nice. One more breath. And then go ahead and bring that leg on back down. We're going to roll back to our bellies again. And this time, inch your way forward so your feet are not in the wall anymore. And we'll come on into releasing our arms down alongside of us. And we'll come up into a locust again. Now, just take a breath here. Feel real easy. And then lower back down. Take a breath into your low back here. And then again, inhale, rise, float your way up. And the next exhale will come down. Now for the last one, you can do that locust again, or you can bend your knees, reach back, and get a hold of the top of the feet. You can press the feet into your hands, rise the feet up, and come into bow pose instead of locust if you'd rather. Not necessary to do that. And then we'll release to come on back down. And we're going to shift back towards pose of a child from here. So let yourself release. Now you know you can stay somewhat forward on your forearms. Don't do anything that bothers your knees, your hips. Big toes towards each other, knees apart. Arms can be soft overhead, or you can bring the arms and fold them back alongside your legs.
You can even have your arms overhead and bend the elbows and put your hands up on your upper back if you want. Kind of upright at the top of your shoulder blades. Good. And then we'll release to walk our hands back by our knees so we can come up and draw our legs on around in front of us. So take your time, stretch your legs out, get your straps, shake your legs out a little bit too. Move through if you want to do some little leg bounces, do little windshield wiper blades. And we're going to bring our straps, and we're going to come far enough away from the wall to where if you fall back when we're doing boat pose, you don't bang into the wall with your head. And bring the strap across the balls of your feet here. Let the outside edges of your big toe mounds touch. Your heels be just a little bit apart. Now, when you rise your feet up, you can decide, maybe so close to your feet with your strap, you may want to hold down by your knees, but you don't want to collapse, remember? So you want to get that feeling of the chest really coming forward, lengthening through your back. And you can just stay here. You don't have to straighten the legs out. This is a boat pose right here. You're using your belly, your low back. You can allow yourself to focus on trying to release in the front of your hips and your hip flexors, if possible. And then you can think about stretching the legs long if you choose. Still that sense of length in the spine, looking out over the top of your toes a little bit. So you're using your arms really here to help you. Good. One more breath here. And then we'll bring our feet on back down. And go ahead and move your strap off to the side. Let's stretch our left leg out long and bring our right foot across to the outside, maybe below or above your knee. Now, for a second, just sit here up nice and tall. And some of you are going to want to keep that left leg long because it feels better. We're going to twist, right? If it feels good to fold that left leg up under you, you can keep both sit bones into the floor. You can fold it up under you. If not, keep that left leg long. Inhale here, and as you exhale, start to bring yourself around. Right hand comes behind you, and you come towards that bent knee there in front of you. Now, you can hold with your hand. You can hook the crook of your elbow around your knee, or you can bring your arm all the way across to the outside of that thigh. That's up to you. Everybody is different. So a twist for you might be less than the person that you're right by, right? So take your time. Enjoy. Feel those sit bones drawing down. One more breath. And then use your belly to bring you back around. Now, you can either come into half cow face. So if this left leg's still long, maybe draw the knees more into line. You don't have to. That's up to you. You can stay in your full cow face if you can. All we're going to do is come a little bit forward to feel a nice release in the hips. So just coming on forward. If you're in your full cow face, you can bring your hands to your feet. You can stay more upright, or you may feel really good to fold over those legs, whether the leg is long or that both legs are bent. Good. One more breath. And then we'll slowly make our way back up. And we're going to stretch both our legs out in front of us. Take your time. Shake out a little bit. And then bring the right leg a little more to the midline. Bring the left leg on over and the foot across to the outside. Maybe it's below your knee. Maybe it's above. At first, sit up tall. And just let your body adjust there. Feel your sit bones really reaching down, right? And again, folding this bottom leg up under is totally up to you. If folding that leg under now so that you have both your sit bones, though, if you're floating up with this left sit bone, don't do it. Just keep the leg long. And you can sit on a blanket. You know that too. So inhaling here. And on the exhale, turning into your twist, left hand comes on around behind you. Your right hand can stay on your knee. If your knee's right up there and you want to hook your elbow around it, do. Or if you want to bring your arm across more to the outside of that left leg or thigh. So breathing, inhaling into the length of your spine. On the exhale, maybe imagine those right ribs coming a little more over towards that left inner thigh. One more breath. And now use your belly as you draw yourself on back around to the front. And again, if you have this leg long, if you can either do a figure four or maybe even cross over more to get your knees closer together. You don't have to. Same thing with this knee up under. You can think of getting your knees more in line if you want to do the full cow face and coming on forward. So take your time. Ease your way forward where you can be. So if you have that right leg long and you're in your half cow face, then you add that element of the hamstring of that right leg too, right? And if you're in full cow face, it's more focused on the hips. So either one, great pose. Nice, full, easy breaths. Good. One more breath here. And then we'll slowly make our way on back up. And go ahead and stretch your legs out in front of you and lean back. And whether you're on fingertips, if that's better for your wrists, or maybe you just want to go flat onto your hands. Look at your feet. Feel your heels on the floor. And just draw your chest forward here now. Really open up through the front of the body. You can look up if it's okay for you. If that feels good in your throat, to let yourself look all the way up with the head back. But if it bothers your neck, then don't. Look more like towards where the wall meets the ceiling, maybe. So you open up in an easy way, no stress in your neck. Good. And then we'll come on back up. And now, don't do this part of coming down if it's too much for you. If you can find a boat pose here, and then let yourself come into a half boat where you're lengthened out and you're using your belly here. This is not for everybody's back. You can stay here. You can keep your knees bent. That's fine. So what you're going to think about doing is lowering down a little bit and then staying. And then you go, oh, my goodness. If you need to come up a little bit, kind of hold your legs and pull yourself up, take a break, do. Of course, if you want to just collapse down to the floor, that's okay, too. So take your time. Play a little bit here with engaging that belly. And then when you've had entirely enough, you can just let yourself descend on down to the floor. Once you're down on the floor, bring your right knee into your chest. And flex through both your feet. Let the back release. Feel the right leg gently coming into your hands so you have that natural curve still in your low back. And then we'll bring the left knee in and stretch that right leg out long. So take your time there. Enjoy. Feeling again the left leg coming into your hands. That natural curve in your low back. Good. And then bring both knees in towards your chest. Let them move around a little bit side to side if that's releasing for you. And then we'll come on back to center with the knees, separate them, come on in towards Baddha Konasana. Whether you rest your hands on your shins or your ankles, whether you like to go ahead and bring the soles of the feet all the way into each other and clasp around the outside edges of your feet. Just be mindful. Let the knees reach away from each other. If you want a little more, think of sending your tailbone down a little more. And then you'll get more in your inner thigh releasing there, inner thighs releasing. Good. One more breath. And then bring your knees on back in towards your chest. And let's stretch our legs up in the air. And as you do, start to move the legs back and forth like you're cross-country skiing on the ceiling. And you can go as far down with that bottom leg as you want. Just make sure you're not popping your back up and off the floor. So you have that little bit of curve in your low back. You want that to stay there. You don't want to have your pelvis shift and shift. So stay nice and strong there. And then finish off with the feet up and see about drawing your legs in towards your body a little bit. Now, some of you might want to do a whole plow pose here. So if you're so inclined, the wall is back there for most of us here in the studio anyway. You can reach back, come on up into your plow pose with your feet at the wall if you want. Supporting yourself there on your low back, walking down the wall if you feel like it, right? Don't do a plow if you know plow is not for you. Take your time. Let yourself come into any movement that feels good to you, any pose. Doesn't have to be a yoga pose. You may find that there's something else that sounds good to your body to do right now. Anything at all. Just be mindful. If you need another twist, do another twist. If you feel like doing a bridge pose or a supported bridge pose, by all means do. So that as you start to feel like you're able to release a little bit. Now sometimes you think you're fine and you start to come down into the floor and you're like, maybe I need a little support. So at home, same thing as here, except I just can't bring you anything. But if you have blankets at home, it helps you to roll blankets up or put pillows under your knees when you're lying out flat. If your back bothers you, that might be very helpful. Or if you need a little bit of a blanket under the back of your head so that your chin's not rising up, tensing the back of your neck. Just be mindful as you start to feel your body releasing down into the ground. Let yourself accept your breaths in and out. And when your mind starts to think, it always does, it always will, it's okay. Just let yourself easily return to your breath, just like you were watching the waves, the ocean in and out. Finding those quiet places. And allowing yourself to completely and fully relax.
gradually now, start to let your awareness come back to feeling physical again there, supported by the floor. As your breath naturally wants to come in and go out more deeply, just let yourself feel the movement of the breath again. Feeling those deeper breaths bring you back into wanting to move. And starting with your fingers, your toes, your hands, your feet when you're ready. Moving up into your arms, your legs. Just letting your body come back naturally to move the way that feels good to you. You might even want to let your head turn a little side to side, roll a little bit. You know you're welcome to stay on your back. You're welcome to roll onto either your right or your left side into a soft fetal position if you're comfortable to do that. Just be easy so that you give your body and your brain a little time here. And so that when you feel okay to rise up, it feels like just the next natural step to come to sit again, getting comfortable in the way you're sitting, and then letting the head start to rise to be up there on top again, up above your heart. See if you can enjoy feeling your sitting bones reaching down and the top of your head reaching up. And letting your hands rest in a comfortable place for your shoulders. Feeling your breaths in and out again. And on your next exhale, bringing your hands gently to meet there in front of your chest, in front of your heart. And wishing each one of you a very joyful day. Namaste. Happy Friday, everyone. And new month.